Welcome to the stream and to the jungle, but mainly the stream. Let's see. Okay, that should fix everything. Today's Sub Sunday, so we analyzed games submitted by subs in Discord earlier today. We'll start in 9 minutes when we're on Chess TV. I was watching the Lions game, but then it looked like they were going to lose. Yeah, they actually got a touchdown. So they're only down 48-42. And there's 12 seconds left. It says they have the ball, which means the onside kick worked. I should have watched the end of it then. They were down 48-35 when I stopped watching. So they needed a touchdown, an onside kick, and a touchdown. I'm not sure if them having the ball is correct. Wow, the team scored 100 points, or 90 points. I can almost count. And they had over 1,000 yards. Thanks, Dankle16, for subscribing. The Bills have the ball, so the Lions must have been kicking off. So the Bills are going to win 48-42. And they did. Wow, what a game. Detroit was always completely losing, but they made the score look respectable. 48-42 doesn't seem like a blowout. But Detroit was down 21 points in the third quarter. Yeah, I guess the over one, that's right. Sizzle Them Juices subscribed at Tier 1. Thanks for supporting the stream. Yeah, 48-42 was the final for the Bills. Thanks, Dankle16, for 100 bits. Bring back Centidues. Thanks for 100 Centidues. Okay, we brought it back. We have 11 games submitted, which is pretty good. Although it says we have 13, so I guess I don't count very well. So we have 13 games submitted. Yeah, my counting isn't good. Karen was streaming poker today, and then She'll be streaming poker tomorrow. Typically, I have my class on Monday night, but we're not going to do that anymore. It's going to be on Wednesdays. Although one of them is going to be on Tuesday. I'm not sure which one. Possibly the one before Christmas, 16th. Yeah, because the 17th, that would be Christmas Eve. So I think Wednesday's this week and Tuesday's next week, I think. So the class isn't going to be on Mondays anymore that I used to teach. Now it's going to be on Wednesdays. Although one of them will be on Tuesday because of the holidays. I'm not sure which one. I think the one on the 23rd is going to be on a Tuesday. So Karen's going to play poker Mondays typically, and I'll be streaming Monday nights instead of not streaming Monday nights. Tuesday's the 24th. That's right. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Maybe we won't have a lecture that week. That's possible. But I think the one this week's Wednesday, unless it's Tuesday. But I think it's Wednesday. Anyway, you guys will figure it out. I post on Discord and Twitter, so you'll see it on Blue Sky. Tuesday is chess.com. What? If it's Tuesday, we must be in Belgium. You're on the top 100 in your country? Are there 90 players in your country? Thanks, Mr. Attack Zenith. Z9th. Isn't that Title Tuesday? Yes, Title Tuesday is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. my time. Then I do a stream Tuesday night that starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So that wouldn't affect that. Go, Ben. What sport are you talking about? I don't know. Chess? Funky Monk 50 started the hype train with this subscription. Thank you. Go, hype train. Are the aliens here? What's your theory on the UFOs? I don't know. It seems harmless. Seems like people have flying things or airplanes. Doesn't seem like a story, really. A Detroit team, football. The Detroit Lions. Aliens are here to help. Yay. I thought that Trump wanted to get rid of all of them. Go 71 subs. Yeah, make sure you all subscribe because it's Sub Sunday, so you're required to subscribe. I'm talking to the people on Twitch, obviously. And frankly. Hi, Chess TV. I'm Ben. Today's Sub Sunday. We look at games submitted by viewers on Discord who are subs. If you're interested in doing that on Twitch, type !analysis and it'll explain to you how to do it. Very few people can do it. However, today we had 13 people do it. So that's lucky. Since a couple of days ago was Friday the 13th. I got upgraded to first class. Seemed pretty good. Do we have any mods here that can do markers for the games? I think tensor extensions here. Okay, so we can do a marker at any time for game one. Okay, game one is from our usual Sitbear, who's playing his usual NN. This is an OTB game I played last weekend, which I thought I won in a very aesthetic fashion. While my development and peace play flowed with great harmony, my 1500 rated opponent forgot that bishops do in fact go backward. Then I gave away all my pawns the next round, but we don't talk about that. Okay, this was played in Newport Beach, California. White is rated 1636. That's our hero. Black is 1556. Time control is game 30 with 5-second delay and or increment. Nobody knows. Probably delay, but I don't know. Go NN. No, I don't have the sound. It's good I didn't have the sound on. Okay, so it's Peart's modern kind of position. White's plays pretty timid. Good for a tiny advantage. Yeah, the knight doesn't really belong on t7, but it's okay. b6 is dubious. b6 looks all right. Typically, white would take on c5 and then play bishop c4. But bishop c4 is okay. But the engine says white's +1. Seems a bit harsh. Thanks, Brains29, for subscribing. The engine says knight g4 is better because it attacks the pawn on e5. e6 exclam, and white is much better, or winning. Now, knight g5 should give a winning advantage, as does e takes f7. Well, the engine wants to sack a piece, and then after takes, play knight f3. What? What kind of hocus pocus is this? Yeah, that's better. Knight df3. That's what I would play. Also winning for white. White's play is better than perfect so far. 2 bishops, extra pawn. Excellent move. So far, white's just playing great. Threatening the rook. And the cryptic comment that Sitbear made was that black forgot bishop's move backwards. So I'm assuming black missed bishop takes rook and played something else. But white is about +5 here, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, black took on f5. Then black resigned. Yeah, white's play that game was impeccable. His opening play was a bit passive, but it wasn't bad. It was just passive. Then black made lots of mistakes. White punished them by playing e5, e6, e takes f7, knight e5, knight f3. Those were all good moves. So good game by Sitbear. The best game of the day. It's Yabba Dabba Doo 2. Go Ben. Agreed. So white played virtually perfectly that game. I would assume the cap score's in the 90s. Black made several moves the engine didn't like b6, which I think is okay. Bishop b7 doesn't like knight d5, doesn't like knight f6. And from here on in, white was just winning. Problem with taking with the rook is we can play knight g5 attacking the rook. And if the rook goes back to f8, then knight e6 forks. So king h8 is actually a better move than white's winning here. e6 wasn't good because he lost his e6 pawn. Then he's got 2 bishops and the knight was pinned. g4 was good. Yeah, there's nothing really for black to do here. Black's just losing. Then hanging the rook was the cherry on top. You lost your old account. No. Okay, so good game. Now we have Bonari, so we can do another marker. Okay, Bonari says, this game was played sometime in the 1990s. I can't remember if I played it before or after Pulp Fiction came out. Well, that is important. Okay, and this is in the Mid-America Class Championship, it says, round 2. Bonari has white. Usually the Mid-America's in St. Louis. Okay, so Bonari's white. They play open Dragon Sicilian. Bishop c4 is an uncommon move. It's okay. Trying to transpose into normal theory. But black plays knight b d7, which is a bit meek. Wasn't it in Chicago that year? I don't know, 34 years ago or something. It was 30 years ago. Nobody knows. Yeah, queen b6 doesn't look like a good move. Yeah, knight f5 is the refutation. Attacking the bishop and, the queen and the bishop. The queen b2 is forced. Takes. Bishop d4 is good, and knight d5 also gives white an advantage. Bishop d2 is not good. Yeah, you want to play bishop d4, so you're also on the queen. And then, in case black plays king takes knight, you can play a3 trapping the queen because your bishop controls b6. Now you're threatening rook a2, and there's not really a good defense to rook a2. So now white's winning. So black actually shouldn't take the knight on g7. So bishop d2, now black is okay. Yeah, because you can't trap the queen because you're not covering b6. Yeah, bishop d3 is pretty passive. Now black's better. Yeah, here black's just a pawn up. But white has 2 bishops and some dark squares. Yeah, the engine wants to play g4. God damn. Okay, so the engine likes black because black's a pawn up, but white has a nice initiative on the king side. So white has compensation. Yeah, it doesn't like knight g8. It wants to play a retreating move, but not that one. It wants to play king h8. Which seems strange. It doesn't like knight d5. It wants to play knight e2 and get the knight over to the king side this way. Now black should take the knight. Ugh. How can you leave that knight on d5? No. E6 weakens a lot of squares around black's king. It's not very good. Queen g3 is good. Yeah, e takes f5 is a blunder, and now white's winning. Black should play knight f6. Solid. It's hard to play knight f6 because after it takes, it looks like white's winning. But now black plays queen e7 or king g8 and just chills. But now, when you trade the e-pawns, you're getting rid of the e4 pawn for white, so white has more attack on g6. And the knight's pinned. So this is a serious threat now. Now it says white's completely winning. Well, that just hangs the queen. But after h takes g6, which looks more normal, knight takes g6 is winning, and knight e6 check is winning as well, with the idea of bishop e5 and queen g6 and rook f6 threatening mate. And white's a pawn ahead. And the engine says white is +5 if black accurately finds queen d4 check and queen h4. Then this is the engine line, and white's winning. A funny line would be rook g8, check, takes, here, mate. Okay, but none of that happened. Instead, black played fg, or as I call it, ng. So now white just plays knight e6 check and wins the queen. And then black resigned. Seems like an easy move to see, but I guess not. So pretty good game from Bonari. Got a good position out of the opening. Then black was okay. And then Bonari won the game again. So good game so far by both players who won. Okay, let's do a marker for the next game. Okay, this is from Jim Wright, also known as Jimkin Chess. He's 1050, and he played a 1437. Hi, Ben. Slow game in 60 with 30 seconds increment. Played OTB in the last round of a recent tournament in Ottawa. I was happy to get the win, but lots of things to improve on. I appreciate your thoughts as always. Thank you. Okay, and our hero, who's 400 points lower rated, has the black pieces. And as he already said, he won the game in the last round. Yeah, knight f6 is a mistake because white can play e5. Then black has to play knight g8. So you don't want to play knight g8. So knight f6 is a mistake. And I've said this on many streams. In chess, when white has a pawn on e4, which is probably more than half the time in a chess game, and black plays the move knight f6 at some point, which also happens about half the time, then if white can play e5 and black doesn't have a good response, then black shouldn't have played knight f6. So after e5, black's only response is knight g8. So that would be bad. Okay, so white played f4. We transpose back into theory. Yeah, knight d5 is not good because it hangs the e-pawn. Then black's up a pawn. Also, knight takes d5 and e6 are good. Yeah, e6 is fine. Although knight takes e4 wins a pawn, so that's better. This is slightly better for black. Black has good position. Two bishops. What else? Yeah, black's playing well. Except for move 2. Bishop d8. Say, what? Seems like black wants to retreat their queen. But black could play queen g6 here, and the queen's fine. Bishop c7. All right. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Black is still better with the two bishops. f5 is a good move. You want to help your bishop get better. Bishop on c6 is the bishop that white doesn't have, the white squared bishop. So f5 is always a good idea. Yeah, rook f3 is not good because it loses the e-pawn, which is attacked 3 times and defended once. Better would be e5 or knight g3. Bishop e8. Well, I mean, you can take a pawn, then you're up a pawn. And you have a winning position. So bishop e8 is not the refutation. Again, you take the pawn on e4. Again, you could take the free pawn on e4. Now after e5, white's better because the d pawn's holding the c pawn. Yeah, e5 is still good for white. There we go. Now white's slightly better. White has tremendous compensation for the exchange with 2 pawns and a passed pawn on d6. So the engine prefers white. But okay, in a practical game, either side could win. King g1 is a good move. That blunders the f-pawn. The queen was defending the f-pawn, and now it's not. So white went from much better to losing immediately after queen takes f4. But black played rook e8. That's too bad. After queen takes, if white attempts to win the pawn back, then the knight on g3 is hanging. So we can take with the queen or the rook, and we're winning. So rook e8 was unnecessary. Now white can play bishop e5 with a stranglehold on the position. But he played c4, hanging his pawn again. And then black didn't take it again. Now white can play bishop e5. Rook e5, hanging the pawn again. Yay, and finally black takes. Now the engine says black is slightly better. Although I would assume black is winning if I had black. Exchange up, and f4 pawn's gone. f4's coming. Got nice attack on the g line. Whoa. That move just crazy. So that move hangs rook takes g2 check. And the engine points out queen f3 also wins. But I assume a human would play rook takes g2 check. And now queen f3 has the devastating threat of rook g1 check. And then queen mate on h1 or g2. But probably he didn't play that. He played rook f2, which also wins. Yeah, now if black takes the rook, then if black takes the rook, and then after the trade here, Queen f6, black is completely winning. That's what the engine gives, but that's ridiculous for white. So instead, white played king g1. Now black has queen h2 mate with advantage. And he played it. So you beat somebody 400 points higher rated in the last round. That's the way to do it. And you played pretty well. And at some points in the game, you could have taken material. You could have taken this pawn on e4, and you could have taken this pawn on f4 way before you did. And as a consequence, white was okay. But then white played the blunder, knight takes f5, allowing your rook and bishop battery, not a battery, but to win the game. Then your opponent hung mate in 1. But if your opponent didn't hang mate in 1, you were still completely winning here with an extra rook. So, good game by you. Let's see. Colm O'Hara said, welcome to Go Ben. Pulp Fiction came out in 89. No, Pulp Fiction, I think, came out in 94. Unless it came out in 93. I have a poster of it right over there. It was either 93 or 94. I think it was 94. But you can look it up on the internet. '94 definitely. Because they made it in 93 and they released it in 94. Yeah, you can't bet money on stuff anymore because you can look it up in 1 second. Those games were good so far. All right, good chat so far. Welcome to Go Ben from Colm. I signed up and it said welcome to Ben. Yay. Let's see, Zed. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Yeah, definitely not Samuel L. Jackson. In fact, Samuel L. Jackson had already left the movie at that point. He comes back later, but that's earlier in time. In that timeline, Samuel L. has already left because they're waiting for Butch, because Butch didn't throw the fight, and when Butch didn't throw the fight, he had already left at that point because Paul Calderone and John Travolta were the guys talking to Ving Rhames. Paul Calderone was the bartender before that, but then he took over from Samuel L. Jackson's part. So when the Zed situation happens, John Travolta's already dead, and Samuel L. Jackson's already left the movie. Now, one thing that I've asked people about, but they don't know, is when Ving Rhames tells Butch he can go. At that point, when Butch comes and saves him, Ving Rhames doesn't know that Butch has killed John Travolta yet. John Travolta's dead. Butch killed him, but Samuel L. Jackson doesn't know that. So I'm wondering if, even though he gave Butch a pass, once he finds out Butch killed killed John Travolta, if he would come after Butch at that point. And that's not clear in the movie. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Even though he killed John Travolta, since he saved him, he still gets a pass. Although he doesn't know it at that point. So I don't know. Also, I've argued with friends whether the Gimp is dead. Like when he got punched in the face, he was like hanged accidentally, or he was just there unconscious. I never thought in the movie he was dead, but everybody thinks that I know thinks he's dead from getting punched in the face and then hanging. So I don't know. Yeah, but he's going to know Bruce Willis killed him because it was near his house that he ran into Ving Rhames, because Ving Rhames was getting donuts for him and John Travolta. You were supposed to insinuate that Ving Rhames was hanging out with John Travolta at Bruce Willis's place and that it was nearby and he was walking back with donuts for him and John Travolta. Now, I have seen the movie over 35 times. That was nice of Ving Rhames to go get donuts for them. I don't know how Travolta was surprised by Willis. It was in the script. Jackie Brown's also good. That's correct. And also, the woman who was shot by Ving Rhames when Ving Rhames was shooting wildly was the same woman who was shot in Reservoir Dogs when they hijacked her car. Same actress. Yeah, Homer Simpson wouldn't have liked that movie because nobody ate the donuts. Unless a homeless guy ate them later. Vegans did exist then. Okay, let's do a marker for the next game. Hi, Ben. This is my round 6 game from the ongoing Tuesday night marathon. I saw my opponent exclusively plays 1b3, so I got to prep this fun gambit. We got a complex middle game that eventually transformed into a better endgame for black. Enjoy. Both players are in the mid 1600s. Game 90, increment 30, and our hero is black. What's this game? It's not even a game here. So there were 11 games. They just put 2 games in there that don't make any sense. Okay. Yes, I've seen this gambit with knight e7. It's considered that black has enough compensation. Put it in h. Yeah, it doesn't like the move h3. It says white should play h4. Now black's better. And now queen g5 is good for black, as is bishop f5. And d4 is okay, but now it says white's better. Yeah, queen g5 puts the onus on white to find a defense to his king side. Bishop f5 is good also. d4 is okay. Yeah, it's just a fun position. Black has good attacking chances. Yeah. Now the engine says black is slightly better, even though black's 2 pawns down. Yeah, knight bd2 is not good, because now the king has to go to f1. Yeah, the engine doesn't like queen f4. It says just take on d4, and black's better. And now black's much better. Black's down a pawn, but white's rooks are no good. White's king is no good. Black's king is perfectly safe, and black can attack with g5, g4 later. Now, surprisingly, although not surprisingly on my stream, rook takes e3 is winning, because always sack the exchange. And you can't play queen e2 or queen f3 because the rook hangs. So you don't have enough time to stop rook h6, rook f6. So now black is winning. It says plus 3.2. All because white played rook c1. If white's rook was on a1, then queen e2 or queen f3 would be sufficient. Okay, black played rook h6, which is also good. This ending's better for black. Probably makes more sense to keep the queens on with queen g5, just because white's king is so badly placed. And bishop c6 later will gain a tempo. But this is also good for black. Black gets his material back. Yeah, now white's okay. And that's a mistake. Yeah, now black's doing great. Yeah, king f6 is a mistake. We should play king d6. Keep our king in the center. Then if rooks are ever traded, we can walk in. Now it's equal. Now after d6, white's better because white's threatening knight d5 check, forking the king and rook. So bishop f5 is a mistake. And that move just loses to rook e4. Now black's winning because black's king can walk in. H pawn's weak. So knight e2 is really bad. Yeah, now black's winning. Combined H pawn and the fact that white's in zugzwang, you can't move anything. Yeah, and bishop d3 also wins. Thanks, Cute Kitty Cat 2, for gifting a sub to Bishop Stars. Thanks for supporting the stream, everybody. But this wins. Yeah, now black is just mating white. Good finish. Yeah, nice finish to the game. And your opponent was 19 points higher rated than you. Lots of upsets today. That wasn't necessary for black to win by one tempo. Like, in this position, black could have played bishop f3 and then did this. But that's fine. Like, winning by one tempo is fine and you win. Yeah. There's nothing else white could do. So. Killer Caterpillar with the nice faux pas there. A few years ago, this guy told me he was my father. And I said, "Are you really my dad?" And he said, "No." He was a faux pas. Yeah, letting opponent promote is good. Agreed. You know almost all the chess rules by watching my stream? Yeah, the $5 shake scene seems like that would be cheap for a shake now. There's a place that has a vegan menu in Royal Oak, Michigan, also has a non-vegan menu. And their shakes are all vegan. And those shakes cost like $9. I mean, maybe they're more. Vietnamese soup for dogs, faux pas. If it wasn't pronounced faux pas, that would be good. Genuine faux pearls. I'm glad we were here, the children were here to hear that genuine frontier gibberish. Let's come to Malaysia. Okay, so we have 50 people watching on YouTube, and we have 1,600 watching on Twitch, because I'm on Chess TV. In Philadelphia, that'll be $50, does still hold up. You got a receipt? No, we're referring to a movie. What's the name of that movie? Let's see. I forgot the name of the movie because I can't remember names of things. Oh, well. Somebody will say it in the chat. Trading Places. Before somebody said it. Hooray. And Mark said it. I was looking at the other chat. Trading Places, Bo Diddley owns a pawn shop for some reason. And Dan Aykroyd, who was a millionaire before he was broke, brought in a very expensive watch. And Bo Diddley said, "This watch is so hot, it's smoking." And then Dan Aykroyd explains that it's, how much the watch is worth and what it does. And Bo Diddley says, "I'll give you $50 for it." And then he says, "In Philadelphia, it's worth $50. That sounds like a Simpsons line. "Sorry to let you down, Casanova. No receipt, no return." Yeah, that sounds like that guy who has funny lines in The Simpsons.
Hey Ben,
Yes?
can you accept there's
What's that?
can you check your text and I think it's security
Yes.
whatever.
I don't have a text,
Okay.
but I will check them. Now I got a text. Always check, it might be text. Yeah, retail guy's the guy who said it. I didn't know what his name was, but I know who it is. Have you ever pawned anything? I've promoted pawns, but I haven't pawned anything. I've been to Tempe, but not to Tucson. I can't tell if Thomas Beckett is kidding and it's a line from a movie or something. If you don't have enough time to go to Tempe, you can go to Tempo. That takes like half the amount of time. Okay, let's do a marker for the next game. Okay, this game is from Gung. Hi, Ben. Here's a nice blitz I played recently. 5-minute game. Our hero's 2010 rated, and the villain is 1974. And this was played on chess.com. I don't seem to have the game. Let's see. I don't know what I did wrong. I'll do it again. Okay, here's the game. Okay, so our hero's white, and this is a 5-minute game. So far, both players are playing great. Well, even here the engine says play h4. Man, engines always want to play h4. Not when I was a kid. Still h4. But the engine really hates that move. It says it's terrible. Wow, long castle. I wouldn't have thought of that. Now, for some reason, f4 is a crushing move. Then after bishop takes, king takes, black has a big advantage. a6, not as crushing. Yeah, now it says white has a great position. Every move it wants white to take, and it wants black to take. But nobody takes, so it says all these moves are slightly not good. Like every move, the last 10 moves, it's like, why isn't white taking? Why isn't black taking? Including there. And there. And now it says bishop takes just wins. And now you have to take with the queen so the queen doesn't come to h6. Now knight f4 is winning. Yeah. Yeah, white's attack is faster than black's attack. Now the pawn's attacked with check, so b3 is the winning move. And he played b3. Yeah, and black's pieces are just no good. White's rook is great, knight is great on f4, bishop is good, queen is good, king is relatively safe. Right, rook h2 was the engine move to double rooks. Now white has a serious threat. White's play is perfect. And black is crushed. Now, white has a brilliant winning move, which he found in a 5-minute game. Let's see if you guys can find it. Yeah, most of you guys are right. Almost all of you. Look at Bonari. Yeah, white played queen takes h8 check. Now you can play king g6, but then rook h6 check and f4's mate. And white's up 2 pawns and mating. Yeah, that was a nice game. White played very well, especially for a 5-minute game. White played a bit too well, if you know what I mean. Oh, snap. With that puzzle at 1200, that was at least 2200. Yay, Gung gave 5 subs. But more importantly, he gave us this beautiful game. And that'll live forever. He's one of the top Yuis in the world now. Better than Wang Yui. Or maybe not. Sure thing, Gung. I was gung-ho for that review. That was a nice sacrifice. The way you set it up. You played a lot of good moves that game. That was the game of the century if it was a slow century. Who's the #1 female chess player now? I don't know. I guess Ifan is, but she doesn't play very much. She's like semi-retired. I like Garachkina, but she's not the best, but I like her. She's top 10 for sure. Probably top 5. Botez, well, if you took all the top women chess players, she might be the best poker player. Although Elmira Skripchenko might be better than her. Elmira's played a lot of poker. And was sponsored. Jen Shahadi also good at poker. Yeah, of strong chess players, Botez, Jen Shahadi, and Elmira Skripchenko are probably the three best poker players of all the women over 2,200. Not sure that Botez is over 2,200. We'll just say that she is. Yeah, Botez is currently playing in some big event in the Bahamas. I saw a video of one of the hands that she won. Her pocket aces held up. Now that's a video when the aces hold up. It was against pocket fours. Neither improved. Then on the turn, Botez bet and the guy folded. Nemo's also quite good. She's in the top four with those three until we find somebody else. Did any Duke ever play chess? No. Were you ever big into poker? I play poker now, but I don't play in tournaments. I play cash, but not successfully. I mean, sometimes I'm successful, but sometimes I'm not. I like poker in The Simpsons. 4 queens, 5 queens, 6 queens. Well, he wasn't a chess freak. He was an A player. That's your poker face? What's wrong with my poker face? Do you ever win at poker? No. What's funny is Jason Alexander actually plays poker. Oh, I thought you meant like he was a super freak. Like Rick James, also part of the Seinfeld joke. Do you have pets? Yes, I have 2 large dogs. 70 pounds and 90 pounds. I'm over 100. Go W.C. Fields. Karen was streaming earlier today. So you've seen her in a while. You just didn't watch the stream. Karen streams about 4 days a week. She streams poker. Usually for several hours at a time. So she's streaming over 20 hours a week, which is more than I stream chess. Who's the best chess player ever? Either Ding or Gukesh, one of them. I don't know what Spencer's doing. We haven't spoken in almost 2 years. But I don't think he's streaming anymore. I think his stream is gone. Who's the worst chess player ever? Probably NN. Does pretty badly. He's like the Washington Generals. Who's the worst health insurance CEO ever? I don't know. There's probably a big tie for first with all of them. You were here for Karen? You have to watch her poker streams then. Same channel. Cold. Man, it was cold in Michigan. God damn. It's like 50 here, and it was like 10 there. And it was snowstorm. Terrible. But that's where I'm from, so. It's going to be 68 degrees here in 2 days. Any good food in Michigan? All the food is good in Michigan. You wish it was colder? Boo, boo, Bonarici. It's too cold. I mean, I was driving in the snowstorm. Who's the best president of the last 30 years? I know who it's not. Oh, snap. Last 30 years. What year is this? So that would be 1994 until now. Who was president in 94? Was Clinton president in 94 or was he before 94? Clinton's pretty old. Clinton's also a vegan. Clinton has a serious case of old. 92 to 2000. Well, Clinton has a good reputation. So does Obama if you're in liberal circles like me. Bush? Probably not Bush. Also, you didn't say which Bush. Wait, the first Bush, that wasn't 30 years ago. That was more than 30 years ago. Is Clinton a rapist? I mean, you could say that about every president and most members of Congress. Yeah, Trump is older than Clinton, which is funny. Yeah, Jimmy Carter's still alive, I guess. I guess, if you can call that alive. I can't believe he's alive. That doesn't make any sense. He was on death's door like a year ago. Jackie Brown is highly underrated. Who are the oldest members of Congress and the oldest senators? I would assume that's something Mark would know. There's a senator who's pretty old, but I forgot his name. But if you say his name, well, Strom Thurmond's not alive. I meant oldest living. And plus, he's only like 84 or something. I don't think Bird's alive either. Bernie's definitely not the oldest. He's one of the youngest. Oh, snap. Maxine Waters is 86. She's a congressperson, right? Is Karen related to PJ Harvey? Karen? Chuck Grassley's the guy I was thinking of. Now, he has a serious case of old. Yeah, Pelosi's 84 and she'll be 85 in March. Yeah, Chuck Grassley's no kid. Lying about drones. Yeah, Chuck Grassley's no spring chicken. Grassley's like the head of some committees, too. Yeah, Grassley tweets crazy things. Do you play Go? I do not. See also Abe Vigoda. Yeah, but Abe Vigoda's actually died. Now the meme isn't funny anymore. I have a friend who I visited in Michigan, Wes Berger. My dad's friend, but my dad passed away, so now he's my friend. I got that in the will. Wes is my friend. Anyway, he's 83, 84. I think he's 83. But he's in much better shape than all the politicians in their 80s. You wouldn't guess he's 83 if you hung out with him. Acts like he's about 70 or late 60s. Well, he plays bridge. At the bridge tournament, he's the youngest. Yeah, I could start playing Santa, make some money. Yeah, Abe Vigoda looked old in The Godfather, which was 50 years ago. But he wasn't that old then. The funniest person who's not old, who looks old, is on Sanford and Son. The guy who played Red Fox's friend Grady, Whitman Mayo, he was like 40 when they shot Sanford and Son, and he's supposed to be in his mid-60s. He looks like he's in his mid-60s, but he was like 40. He looked old and he talked old. He was like, "Hey, Fred." Oh. He acted old. What was my father's name again? Ronald Feingold. Dick Van Dyke's old, and so is Mel Brooks. I think Dick Van Dyke is older than Mel Brooks, but I'm not sure. They're very close. Mel Brooks is between 96 and 99. He's somewhere in there. Yeah, J.K. Simmons has been a famous actor for a long time. Yeah, how old is Mel Brooks? Somebody look it up. I could just ask. Siri, how old is Mel Brooks? Mel Brooks is 98. God damn. He's killing it. Well, Betty White died last year. Yeah, in fact, that's one of my favorite jokes on the Jeffersons. They're talking to Mother Jefferson, who, as I've said on the stream before, who calls their parent mother than their last name? Like, we never called my mom Mother Feingold. Anyway, and she's explaining that somebody's dead, and they go, "Are you sure she's dead?" And she says, "I may not know who's alive, but I know who's dead." That's what Zara Cully said. She played Mother Jefferson. Betty White died 3 years ago. Man, the truth hurts. Yeah, Mel Brooks was on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He played Mel Brooks. Yeah, Kirk Douglas lived till about 100 also. That's right. Yeah, Wilford Brimley was like 39 during Cocoon. And Absence of Malice, even though he's supposed to be 60 or something. Who's Charles George? Is that a friend of yours? Okay, let's go to the next game. We killed enough time. Somebody do a thing. Yeah, there you go. You did the thing. Hi, Ben. Sharing a fun rapid I played recently. Found some only moves in the last 20 seconds. I am playing white. So this is Magic against John Wilson 01. Both players are about 1800. White is slightly higher rated. This is a rapid game, it says. No, e6. The book move is bishop g4, which I've played many times. e6 is just a bad queen's gambit for black. e3 is unnecessary. Just play knight c3. So Queen Elizabeth, who died recently, was the same age as what famous actress? Except the famous actress died 60 years ago. And they met. Marilyn Monroe, with an interesting spelling of Marilyn. Marlon Monroe, also good. I now need Marvin Monroe. 3 spellings of Marilyn Monroe, all incorrect. And the truth hurts. Ooh, CD's not good. Yeah, you don't want to let this bishop out. Even that way. Ooh, knight takes isn't good. You want to take with the pawn so your bishop can get out. That's why you played e6. Typically in the pawn structures where there's center pawns and there's a pawn defending the center pawn, that's what you capture with when pawn's captured, not with the knight. Now white is simply better after e4. Okay, knight c3 is okay. Yeah, white's, well, bishop e2 is a bit passive. Bishop d3 or bishop d5 is better. Or rook c1. Bishop isn't very aggressive on e2. Both sides are playing very passively. Finally, a good move, e4. Yeah, this is great for white. I mean, I wouldn't play that, but it's okay. I like my bishops too much. Definitely don't want to put the queen on c2, because open file, so that means the black rook is going to be there eventually. Bishop d7 is not the right square for the bishop. Go to g4 if you're going to move the bishop. Yeah, now white's better because of the pass pawn. Well, now white's worse. Yeah, that bishop is terrible. Yeah, you don't want to take that bishop. If they take the pawn, you have knight b6 winning the exchange. So just, you can play knight e3 if you're worried about it, but you don't want to take this. Yeah, now black's doing great. We have f4 square for our knight. Our bishop's good. Pawn's easily blockaded. There's no knight on d5, which was great. Where was the queen here? This just hangs the pawn. I guess you can take this pawn, but you can't take with the knight. Yeah, if you take, you're going to lose your g-pawn. Yeah, that's a blunder, because the queen here is threatening this, and rook d7 walks into knight e5. So bishop takes e4, black was better. Now white's completely winning with knight e5. Which white played. That's why he played queen c5 to play knight e5. Yeah, now white's just up material and winning. The rest of the game was probably easy. Connect 5. Yeah, and this isn't good. The queen on b6 is misplaced. You don't want to take this pawn. Queen e3 gives white all the advantages that he had, or queen d4. Either one, just to defend the f pawn and the e pawn. Now black is back in the game. Yeah, because white's king is loose. Yeah, now it's equal. Wow, king e3. White's playing for the loss. Now black only has one equalizing move, but I'm guessing he didn't play it. You want to stop white from extricating his king to the queen side. So rook c8 is actually equal. Then black can start checking and so forth and taking things. And the king can't get back to the queen side and become safe. Yeah, now white's winning because black has this monster pawn fortress here and white's king is just perfectly safe now. Yeah, rook b4, and that's it. Black's attack is over, and white still has all these massive pawns. And threatening queen g8 mate. God damn. Rook c1 check was the best move, because queen g8 mate is unstoppable. Pretty good technique. Well, that game could have been better, but white was clearly the better player. White was winning and then sort of gave it all away and then won again. So white wanted his will, since his opponent's name was Wilson. Wilson! Okay, let's do a marker for the next game. Black is our hero this game. Okay, this is from Z. Z has black. They're both rated 1700. Time control says 1800 plus 20. I don't know what that is. Is that 30 minute? Or is that an hour? 1800 is 30 minute, right? 5 times 6 is 300 times 6. Yeah, so that's 30 minute. With 20-second increment or delay. I don't know, I guess increment. Played on Lee chess. So take the rating as in this game, I was playing with black and slowly got to a worse position by losing the exchange and later a piece, etc. White was completely winning, but blundered and then shortly resigned afterwards. Never resign. What human understandable improvements could you give to my game, other than moving my rook to the same diagonal with my opponent's bishop and playing the too aggressive bishop g3 and not retreating the bishop the next move? Many of the moves the engine suggests are not clear to me as to why they should be played. Got to do some math here. If you lose the exchange and then lose a piece, you're down a rook. Okay, here's the game. Again, it's Lee chess, so far, good game. Engine slightly prefers black, but no big deal. Now it slightly prefers white. Now it likes black. Yeah, knight bd2 develops the knight. Queen d2 makes these pieces hard to develop. Now black should play f6. So you know queen d2 is bad when f6 is good. Rook b8, lining the rook up with this is not good. But b3 is still the best move. Yeah, now up to the exchange stack, black is fine. because black has this massive center pawns. Now, and I'm not kidding, the engine wants to sack another exchange. Rook takes f3. And then after gf3, queen takes b8. Even though black is down two exchanges, it says black is better. Black has great center pawns. White has a ruined pawn structure. And black has excellent piece play. But he took that. Now the engine likes white a little bit. But no big deal. Ooh, it doesn't like that. Yeah, black doesn't want to trade pieces. Black wants to keep all the pieces on the board so the rook doesn't look so good. In the endgame, rooks are better. Yeah, now white's just winning. Yeah, this is hopeless now. I'm not sure how black blundered a piece. I don't see how to do that. I don't see which piece to blunder. Well, okay, now you can blunder a piece. Bishop c8. So he blundered two pieces for a rook, not a piece. So, okay. But now he's down a piece for nothing. It's hard to see how white can lose this. White's just up a knight for nothing. White's not playing badly. White's playing fine. White's 1700 player. On lead chess, but still. Yeah, in this position, rook e1 is forced mate. But that doesn't make any sense. Queen g5 is also forced mate. And he hung his rook. So, yeah, rook e1, the rook's not attacked. But white forgot about his rook because white was doing stuff. So white didn't care about queen over here. Yeah, now black's winning. Yeah, this is just as bad for white as it was for black earlier. Now white resigned. And he thinks white shouldn't resign because they're both blundering so much. But yeah, white was probably quite upset at blundering his rook with check. Yeah, that was pretty bad. And trading queens. That's... Blunder your rook with check and trade queens going to a dead lost endgame. Yeah, I wouldn't resign with white based on the way the game was played earlier. But if like two grandmasters were playing, then white would resign. Yeah, I would do a lecture on Ron Burnett. Me and Ron Burnett are like that, son. I played Ron Burnett like 5 years ago in Georgia. I won a very, very, very long game. Like 70 moves at least. Anyway, contact Karen to get a lecture sponsored. Usually it takes a couple of months because we have a lot of people who want lecture sponsored. So there's a waiting list. It's not a waiting list. It's a list of when you'll be on. Probably February or March now, based on how many people have lecture sponsored. A queue, that's what it's called. Yeah, queue. Yeah, get in the queue. The more you pay, the higher in the queue you go. Yeah, Ron Burnett is like a year older than me, I think. Let me look it up. Yeah, 1967. I was born in 1969. So yeah, he's a couple of years older than I am. Plug my phone in. Yeah, I played poker against Botez and Nemo at the same time. It was a one table knockout. I got knocked out in 7th out of 9 people. And Nemo and Botez also got knocked out before the 3 prizes were given. Ooh, water. Take some breaks so people can talk in the chat. Did they target you? They did not. I won a big pot off of Nemo when I made a big bet on the turn and she folded a better hand. There was an ace on the board and I had ace 5 of diamonds and there were no diamonds on the board. And it was ace and 2 rags and she had ace 7 of clubs and 2 of the cards were clubs. So she thought I had a bigger ace than her because I made a big bet and that her only outs were clubs. So she made a tight fold. Although she probably thought a 7 was an out too. But she thought she was losing and it would cost her most of her remaining chips. So she decided not to risk it. Then I overplayed the same kind of hand against Botez, but she had no problem calling. She had like ace queen, and I had like ace 9, and there was an ace on the flop, and I bet too big on the turn, and I lost more than half my stack. Then the final hand, I was like 85% to win on the turn when I went all in and he called, and then he rivered me. I don't know who the guy was, some famous streamer. I don't know. I still don't know what, like if you said his name, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's him. I still wouldn't know. He's a famous streamer. I don't know. No, I've heard of Ninja. I haven't heard of this guy, and I don't remember his name now. So if he walked past me now, I wouldn't know it's him. Ninja, I know what he looks like, and I've heard of him. Have you ever sang The Gambler at karaoke? I don't think so. Botez's sisters are pretty good at chess. Alex is better, but pretty good. For those of you who aren't aware, because you haven't watched my streams in the last week, I'm coming out of retirement in slow chess. January 18th to 20th, I'll be playing in the Charlotte Open in Charlotte. Okay, let's go to the next game. Okay, this is from Sizzle Them Juices. It's time for another weekly daily chess game submission. In this game, I try to set up a trap tactic, except it's one that they can't escape. So our hero's black. Both players are 1,500. This was played on chess.com, and it's a daily game, so you make a move every day. Both players are 1,500 plus tax. And our hero's black. Game didn't last very long. I've played this with black. Typically, black either plays c6 or knight c6 here. I beat Bonari last week by playing knight c6, although it might have been yesterday, and then knight b4. It might have been yesterday. I don't know. I beat Bonari playing knight c6 here. He played e3, I played knight b4, and then he lost all of his pieces trying to stop knight c2. Like, he played e4, and I took, and then I took this, and then I took something else. And it was a disaster. Yesterday, yeah. And c6 I've also played. Knight f6 is a little uncommon, but it's okay. Yeah, these moves are all good. Ooh, c5's not good. Takes the pressure off the center, loses a tempo. White should play either queen b3, then after queen b6, he can consider c5 because it gains a tempo. The c5 now is just not good. Yeah, queen d3 is not good either. Yeah, now black is just better. Yeah, very good taking with the queen, attacking the knight. Yeah, now bishop takes f3 is good, bishop g6 is good, e5 is good. Yeah, black's just doing great now. Ooh, e4. Ooh. Now e5 is excellent because the pawn's pinned and it opens up the two bishops and it demolishes white's center. White's center completely collapses. And castling queenside's good too, because you line the rook up with the queen. White's play is not inspiring. Ooh, a4. Ooh. Oh, that's ugly and bad. Yeah, now, I mean, black's just winning now. Black's threatening knight takes c5 because all these things are pinned. Yeah, this is a case with the two bishops and the backward d pawn and the weak c pawn. And everything's coming to fruition for black. Black is completely winning. There's not even a good way to protect the knight. Yeah, now knight c5 wins, knight f6 wins. Yeah. They're just crushing. Yeah, c5 was bad. a4 was bad. I mean, these moves are really bad. a4 is the worst of all those moves. Ugh. You know, now white collapses. And black just wins a piece. Black's up a piece for nothing. As long as black doesn't hang a rook with check, black's going to win. Look at that, white castling illegally in a daily game. I can't believe it. Confusing the audience. White played g4 hanging his rook? Well, one guy hung his rook, then he resigned. Yeah, g4 is a funny final move. What do I think about Gukesh? You will refer to him as world champion Gukesh on my stream. No, I'm not working at the Charlotte Open. That's going to be somebody else. I'm playing in the tournament. If you're going to play me in Charlotte, it's because we're paired. I'm not doing any other side work. All positions are important. If you have to spend more than 10 minutes a move, that's fine. That's why they're playing slow chess. Every position's important. You can't afford to make one mistake. And when you do, it gets pounced on. JCVD is correct, Bishop Stars. Well said. Will you have a commentator for my games? I will not. I'll go over my games the Monday after on my stream. Or I guess it'll be Tuesday because Monday is Martin Luther King Day. That's when the tournament takes place. When I play round 1, Joe Biden will be the president. But when I play round 6, Donald Trump will be the president. Terrible. How difficult is it to become a grandmaster? It's very easy, except for Gotham chess. Otherwise, anybody can do it. As the gatekeeper to the grandmasters, anyone can become a grandmaster. That's what I've been told. You just have to try hard. Also, there's 8 billion people in the world, and there's like 1,800 grandmasters. It's easy if you can play like a grandmaster. It's still tough. It's easy to hang on to the grandmaster title. Once you get it, they can't take it away. If they could take it away, they would have. I'd be an IM now, maybe. Yeah, but even on The Simpsons and Family Guy, they climb Mount Everest, or Mount Springfield on The Simpsons, I guess. Dina's probably going to play in the tournament. I guess she could commentate, but she's probably playing since she lives there. And probably somebody will commentate on her games. Okay, next game. Okay, those didn't work. So I'm going to have to do it again. Give me a second. I have to fix something. My copy and paste didn't work. Okay, there we go. All right, let me go look at the discussion. Hi, Ben. This is a rapid match played online. Opponent really thought they had an attack, only to be left disappointed. I was going for a queen sack with queen d3, which didn't end up happening though. Still got to sack a rook instead. So white is our hero. This was played on chess.com, and the time control is 10 minutes, and both players are rated 2040. Did we get a thing on the next game? I forgot. Probably. Tensor extension. Did you do the next game, or I forgot to ask you? You did? Okay. Okay, our hero is white. 10-minute game. Still theory. Usually white plays a3 earlier, but it's not necessary. Okay, now white saved the tempo. Black took on d2. So this is theory if white's a tempo down and played a3 already. You know, white's just slightly better with the two bishops. Yeah, white could just play king h1, I guess, but bishop f3 is actually the best move. Another funny move is queen a5, pinning the bishop to the queen. It's a very strange move, but it's playable. And that's a mistake. Black should take on h3, white takes on b7, and white's slightly better. Now white's close to winning. Bishop f4 is unnecessary. We just go back to d5. But it's okay. And that's a mistake because white has a very nice move here. What's the only move to give white an advantage? See if you guys can find it. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So that gives you guys time to find it. All right, let's see what they're saying in the chat. Some people got it. A lot of people in YouTube chat answer, not a lot of people in the Twitch chat. Twitch chat has 1,800 people. YouTube chat has 58. More answers in the YouTube chat. Suspicious. Bishop g3 is correct, threatening the knight and the pawn. Yeah, e4 is not good because it blocks the bishop's defense. So then queen g2 would be mate with advantage. Now black's lost. The best move is c6. But he played knight f5. Now we just take, and we're up a piece. There's no perpetual because bishop g2 is happening. I guess I can show you. Yeah, there we go. So now white's just up a piece for nothing and winning. Yeah, white was better the whole game. So white wanted to play queen takes h7 check, king takes h7, rook h4 checkmate. That's the queen sacrifice that Blahaj was referring to. But the opponent played g5. So then she said she sacked a rook. Wouldn't call that a rook sack because the rook on e3 is hanging. But okay. Yeah, that just gets mated. Yeah. Same mate we saw earlier. Black doing it. Yeah, after rook takes, then we take the rook here and white's a piece up for nothing and winning. Yeah, black was never better in that game. And when black was forcing all the pieces over to the queen side, they were like losing. So it's no good. What happens after bishop g3? Queen g4. It says taking the bishop wins and taking the knight wins. I'm not sure why you played queen g4. What was your plan after I take your bishop? Although taking the knight's better. Because the engine says it's better, but it's close. But I would take the bishop because I don't understand after queen takes what black can ever threaten. I guess then I would take the knight and just be up a piece. Yeah, queen g4 doesn't do anything. Yeah, there's no attack here because this bishop is a great defender. Okay, somebody do the next game. Okay, this is the last game. So somebody do a marker. If you're still here. Okay, this is the last game. Hi, Ben. This was an OTB game I played with the white pieces. I didn't visualize the 22 g4 when I played knight g5. And then I didn't figure out how to defend my back rank in time trouble. Thanks as always. So here's a game somebody submitted that they lost. White was rated 1630. Black was rated 1150, which is provisional. And the time control was 90 plus 30. Okay, this is the last game. White's our submitter. Black's obviously better than 1150. Could already tell. This is about equal. Every move is fine so far. There's no mistakes. Yeah, the engine wants to play f6 here and attack this pawn on e5 with all of black's pieces. It says it's slightly better for black. Now it says white's better because h6 is very weakening. Problem with h6 is we can never move the f pawn to either block the f file or to take on e5 because black's already played h6 and g6. So the king is too exposed. So after h6, white's now better. Yeah, rook f8's a mistake because bishop a3 is good. Yeah, knight g5 is like semi-crazy. You can take the knight and it says it's equal, but knight takes e5 gives black the advantage, defending here and still attacking the knight. Knight takes e5 is very hard to find. So he just took. It says this is equal. What's funny is king h8 is better than king h7, but everybody would play king h7. Yeah, now white's doing well. Now white only has one move here that's good. White has to play bishop d6. The reason is, if white moves the rook, black can play knight takes e5 and black's better, forcing the trade of queens, and white's going to have a lot of trouble with their pawns all falling. And he played bishop d6. That's the best move. Yeah, now white's better. Rook f8 is forced. Good move. And queen takes e6 is a mistake. White should take the rook, then after rook takes, then play queen e7, and white's better in that position because the g4 pawn is going to fall later. Now black's actually winning with knight f6. And the idea is if you take, rook takes, and you win the bishop. I don't know who's going to find that. Yeah, rook f5, that's more normal. Now the only move is queen e7. I don't know who's going to find that. Yeah, there we go, that's normal. Yeah, now knight f8 wins because the queen's trapped. Yeah, that's why black played rook f5. Rook f5 threatens knight f8 and the bishop's pinned, and the knight defends g6. So this is amazing that the big attacking pieces that white has can't do any attacking things. Now black is winning. Queen e7's forced. Check first. Ooh, rook h5 is a blunder. Bishop h6 is winning. Yeah, now white's better because white's queen gets out. Yeah, now white's doing great. Yeah, white should continue attacking with rook f3 and rook f1 and ignore the c3 pawn. c3 pawn's attacked anyway. So, yeah, now black is up a piece for 2 pawns. Well, 3 pawns actually. But black's piece is better. That just hangs the rook with check. So that was a tactical blunder, maybe in time trouble, maybe not. But the rook's hanging with check. And as we saw earlier in the stream, people are hanging their rooks on the back rank. That's happened 2 or 3 times this stream. So if white plays rook d1 or rook f1, the game just goes on. And if 2 engines were playing, black would likely win. But after queen f7, white just hung his rook with check. So now the game is just over. So white was playing well that game until he hung his rook on a1 with check. Rook f1 looked losing after queen e3, rook c1. Then queen f7. It is losing, but the game would go on like 20 more moves. Like the best move here is knight e6. Not very obvious. Knight g6 is the second best. The engine wants to play rook d1, actually, instead of rook f1, which begs the question, why doesn't this equally win? It does. Oh, we have to play king f1. Oh. Yeah, king h1 loses immediately to rook c1. But king f1, and black is barely winning, if winning at all. Which is shocking, because with the queen here and the rook coming down, this looks dead. But the engine says white's only down 1.5. I guess rook c2, just queen f3. And I still have these passed pawns, so it's still annoying. But yeah, hanging your rook with check isn't good, as we saw earlier in this stream. When you were starting out with chess, was descriptive notation still used? Yes. I used descriptive notation until I was about 11, I guess. And I started using algebraic. Oh, you were the one who had white? Cute kitty cat 2? Yeah, basically the game was like white was better, black was better, white was better. But then after queen here, you hung a rook with check. You can't do that. You can do a lot of stuff, and I'm like, eh. And Esterman's like, eh. And the computer's like, eh. But you can't hang your rook with check. That's a no-no. Also, your d pawn is hanging with check after queen f7, which is now defended. So even if you didn't see queen takes rook, you still hung your d pawn with check, which is very bad because this is 2 pawns are what you need. You say pawn to king 4, pawn to queen bishop 4, knight to king bishop 3, knight to queen bishop 3, pawn to queen 4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight to bishop 3, knight to king queen bishop 3, pawn to queen 3, bishops to, I want to say bishop c4, bishop to queen's bishop 4, queen to knight 3, knight to knight 3. That's how you do it. And what I just said was this, in case you're wondering. These are the moves that I said. I actually said a real game. And I said knight to bishop 3 in this position because this knight can't go to bishop 3. Then I said knight to queen bishop 3 because the other knight can go to king bishop 3. And then both bishops can go to bishop 4. So you have to say bishop to queen bishop 4, or you could say king bishop to bishop 4. Cute Kitty Cat 2 gifted subs. I think 5. Yay, thanks Cute Kitty Cat 2. You're the best. Let's get a train going. Oh, we have a train. Did I miss other people? I must have. I must have missed other people. Goose PhD subscribed. I missed you. Sorry. Thanks, Goose. Maybe I was in the bathroom. Go Hype Train. We need 2 more subs to get to level 3. Are the teams playing tonight good in the NFL? I knew who was playing, but I forgot. Also, did Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh, which I assume they did? Hey Siri, what happened in the Eagles and the Steelers? What happened in the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight? (27-13). That's the score that I saw like when I stopped looking at the game. I guess nobody scored after that. Boy, the Lions and the Bills scored a lot of points. 90 points. God damn. Yeah, Buffalo looks unbeatable. They score a touchdown every possession in every game. That's pretty good. That's good offense. And they beat Detroit and they beat the Chiefs. Pretty good for Buffalo. Except they lost to the Rams last week. Otherwise good. No defense, tons of offense. And because of that, they win 80% of their games or 90% or some percentage in the middle. I guess 80%. What are they, like 11-3? The Bills? Pretty good team. Man, Detroit scored a lot of points for a team that wasn't scoring a lot of points. Then in the fourth quarter and into the third quarter, they scored a lot. They got to 42 points, and that wasn't nearly enough. U.S. Chess's rating with a party of 18. Go U.S. Chess. I'm playing in a U.S. Chess rated event next month. Slightly more than a month. Oh, Green Bay's playing the Seahawks. Hey, Sabina, how are you doing? Go Sabina, but stay there. Former U.S. Women's Championship, Sabina Foizor. Go Sabina. Sabina always does great commentary. Are you in Orlando doing commentary for the kids' tournaments? I guess that's where U.S. Chess would be. Utah? Oh, that's the U.S. Women's Senior? Or is that some other? Yeah. Yeah, U.S. Women's Senior. I knew that. I knew that was in Utah. I played in Utah once, before you were born. Let's see, when did I play in Utah? 1999. So you may have been born, unclear. Yeah, there was the U.S. Championship in Salt Lake City in 1999. And the U.S. Women's Championship. They were at the same location at the same time. Natalia Sodikova won. Good, good. Born in 89, so you were a little kid. That was my only time in Utah. It was at a Holiday Inn, I remember that. Holiday Inn in Salt Lake City had the U.S. Championship and U.S. Women's Championship. Boris Golko won. I beat Nick DeFermian. I drew Sarawan. And I drew Ginjahashvili. And I lost to Serper. I lost to Joel Benjamin. I lost to Kaidanov. And I lost to Alexander Ivanov. Those were my 7 games. Then after the 7 games, the top 2 went to the semifinals and the finals. And Golko won the finals. I didn't play Golko. Well, it was in 1999. It wasn't long ago. I can tell you the openings for each game, too. When I analyzed the game with Gingy, which we drew, he said, "You played the opening so badly, I couldn't play the rest of the game." He was thrown off by that. Did he play piano? No. I lost a very long endgame to Alexander Ivanov, like 80 moves. I beat DeFermi in a really nice game. I've shown that on the stream. My game with Yasser was in round 1, and the clock malfunctioned. It wasn't set properly by Karol Jarecki. It was supposed to have increment, and it didn't have increment. So they were like fooling with the clock on move 12 or 13. Then they fixed it, and then we just agreed to a draw. The famous Roman Ginjahashvili. Yep. Yeah, I was white against Sarawan, white against DeFermian, black against Gingy. I lost with white against Benjamin. And I lost with black against Alexander Ivanov, Kaidanov, and Serper. That was my only time. And I was sharing a room with Irina Zenyuk, who I actually saw in Toronto at the Candidates, and I haven't seen her in like 10 years. She's living in California now. She has a good job. She got a PhD in like spaceships or something, aeronautics. She's like a genius of the highest caliber. Thanks for the raid, although I'm going to raid somebody soon. I can raid Blood Queen or Nemsko. Blood Queen is doing chess. Nemsko's doing poker. I'll leave it up to you guys. You want me to raid Nemsko or Blood Queen? Whichever gets more votes. I'm not sure if that's a vote for Blood Queen or not. Got one vote for Nemsko. I'm not sure if Bishop Stars was voting for Blood Queen or just mentioned her name. As long as it's chess, then it has to be Blood Queen because Nemsko's not doing chess. I agree. I think it should be more chess. Also, I raid Blood Queen like once in my life, and I've raided Nemsko like 300 times. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be streaming. Bye, everybody. Thanks for supporting.